everyone. Today I'm going to swatch out my Distress Inks and Hero Arts stamping inks, and I got these in a recent haul, these sort of Pantone, they're not Pantone but blank color ring swatch cards that go on one ring, and I figured I would swatch out all my stamping inks once and for all so I didn't have to test them each time I went and stamped, and so I had a color reference on hand. So I'm going to swatch them here, and I decided to document the whole process so that if anyone else was interested in seeing the Distress Inks and the Hero Arts colors together, what I'm doing is I'm making color trios and combinations for layered stamping, you know, for flowers or leaves especially. So I have lots of greens and pinks, and I put them into color categories of cools and muted and warm combinations. So you can feel free to use this video, you know, put it in a playlist or as a reference. I'm going to label the type of ink and its name on the back of each card, and if you like the trio, then you can go out and get those inks and use them just like I am doing here. So you can use the video as a reference to see what ink you may need to fill in to your collection, if that makes sense. So right here in this example, I'm making out, put a little leaf on there because it just tells me it's a good leaf combination. And I'm writing the names Distress Ink, DI, old paper, and the names on the back of the card so I know what color each swatch is in reference to. So here you can see we have Distress Ink, old paper, and bundled sage, and Hero Arts, field greens, and forever green. So because I'm primarily a fine artist and not a crafter, I don't have too many inks, and I decided to go with the small cubes, and I have two brands mostly, the Distress Inks and the Hero Arts set. I also have this Colorbox set seen here of Pigment Inks, so I swatched those out as well. But pretty much I have almost the full set of the Hero Arts cubes and the Distress Inks. I'm missing a few of the Hero Arts cubes, but I have most of them. Seen here also is the Simon Says Stamp little stamp swatch set with the ring with the paper, and also I'm using the absorber to wipe my stamps off on. Okay, so I'm going to lay out each color category like this so you can compare the colors. You can pause the video and take a screen capture and see if you need to fill in any gaps in your own ink collection. So I'm just going to tell you what each color is. So these are the blacks. Oops. And this is one stamp of Memento Tuxedo black. And this is 3 stamps of the same one. So it gives a charcoal, it's really light. I find this Memento, it could be that my stamp pad is a bit dry because I've had it for years now. So, but it's nowhere near as black as this one or this one, which I'll get to. The middle one is Ranger Archival ink, stamped twice, jet black. This one is, and this is a new ink pad, ink on 3 blackout, stamped once, and this is blackout, ink on 3, stamped 3 times. These are waterproof, and this is good for Copics. So these are the blackest. This is the blackest, and this one I would use for a dark charcoal gray actually, which brings us to the grays. This is Hero Arts Silver, and then I have Hero Arts Unicorn, which I didn't stamp, but it's white. Hero Arts Soft Granite, Hero Arts Charcoal, And then at the bottom is Memento Tuxedo Black. Because it's almost like a dark gray, that's why I put it here again. Stamped once looks like you could use it as a dark gray, and then stamped 3 times as a very dark gray. Then I have neutrals. And here's a trio of Distress Ink, Old Paper, Pumice Stone, and Frayed Burlap. They're warm neutrals, actually. And then I made a layers just so I can see what looks good together. And this was dirty, so it's a little grayish, a little more gray than it would be because I'd finished stamping the blacks, and then I went right to Pastel Mint Hero Arts. So it was kind of a dirty stamp, that's why it's a little grayish. But we have Distress Inks in Old Paper, Iced Spruce, Weathered Wood, and Stormy Sky plus, and then I stamped over that a few times, Stormy Sky plus Ice Spruce mixed together. So that's that swatch. Then we move into the browns. And we have Memento Desert Sand, which is a cool to neutral brown. Distress Ink Gathered Twigs, which is warm. Hero Arts Cup of Joe, which is cool. And Memento Rich Cocoa, which is cool. Then I just stamped all my cool browns together. This is kind of neutral. It could be, yeah, this is pretty neutral though, actually. And this could be, it's kind of neutral too, but these are all cool. Memento Desert Sand, Distressed Ink Stain, this is Vintage Photo. Memento Rich Cocoa, cool. Distress Ink Gathered Twigs, cool to neutral. Hero Arts Cup of Joe, cool. And then I have the warms here. Distress Ink Tea Dye, Distress Ink Rusty Hinge, Tea Dye, Rusty Hinge, Memento Potter's Clay, Distress Stain in Vintage Photo. So that's it for the browns. Okay, next I have laid out here for you yellows, peaches, reds, pinks, and it sort of borders into the purple because I'm bordering over, but I'm leaving the purple and blues and greens. So here's your overall view. If you like to pause, and you can write down the colors if you want to look at your own set and see if you need to fill in a color in your set or anything. But here are the yellows that I have. And it's Distress Ink Stain Mustard Seed, very bright. Distress Ink Squeeze Lemonade, cool. Hero Arts Lemon Yellow, Scattered Straw, Butter Bar. Okay, and then I'm going into oranges, Dried Marigold. DI stands for Distress Ink, if you didn't notice. I don't think I want to read it out each time. So this is the Stain Spiced Marmalade, Wild Honey, and then we have Hero Arts Orange Soda at the bottom. We get into the peaches. Let's maybe do this one first because it's got yellow on it. These are the Colorbox Pigment Inks, so it's just yellow and sort of peach and fluorescent colors. Then we have peaches, orange soda, soft cantaloupe, it's getting into the pink territory, dark quartz, ripe persimmon, it's very bright, and Memento Potter's Clay, sort of a brown. And I repeated that in the browns, I believe. Now we're going into reds. Worn Lipstick at the top. Rhubarb Stock, that's Memento Ink. Barn Door, this is the Distress Stain. Festive Berries, right here, very bright. And then Hero Arts Red Royal at the bottom. Nice dark red. Now I've put together warm reds. or looking at them now, they're not, these are warm, but these look almost neutral. So Hero Arts Pale Tomato stamped once. Pale Tomato stamped 3 times. So yeah, I was thinking they looked similar, but before they dried, they looked different, but as they settle out, they really do look the same. So that's just Pale Tomato here at the top. Stain, the barn door stain. Fired Brick, definitely warm, and Red Royal. So these are neutral to warm, I'd say. Did I stamp? I don't think I did a cool reds. Here I did a cool one. But it's still light, so yeah, here we have warm. And then cool I'll leave down here. Anyway, I'll do that after. It's hard to do it because, you know, pink is basically red, just a lighter version. So, okay, I'll just go into some layers here. So this is for, I put layers, so for like layered stamps, like a rose or something. So the first stamp is Spun Sugar stamped once, Distress ink. And then again, this one is a mix of Spun Sugar and worn lipstick. So I just stamp each like twice and I get this color. This one is Hero Arts Pale Tomato and Festive Berries. I'm not sure what I did there. I think that these two are very similar. Pale Tomato looks almost identical to Festive Berries. And so I just put them together and I realized that I wanted to do 2, but they're the same color pretty much. So that's that. And then Hero Arts Red Royal. But these colors all go nicely together for a layered stamp. Here's another layers. This is more on the cool side, I'd say. 1 Spun Sugar and then 3 Spun Sugar right here, 1 and 3. And then worn lipstick in the middle. And then Memento Rhubarb Stock, which is a rhubarb color, and then Red Royal Hero Arts at the bottom. That's a beautiful combination. So the reason I'm doing these swatches is if anyone sees it and just wants to get a few colors to swatch some roses, then there you go. Now here's a trio, a light trio, and it's Spun Sugar, Milled Lavender, and Victorian Velvet. So those go together. That's why I put trio, because they just look nice together. And then I have, these are the Colorbox Pigment Inks in the pinks and sort of purpley pink. They're very hot colors, almost neon. Okay, now we're going back to muted. I put together a muted combination. That's 1 stamp of Tattered Rose and 3 stamps of Tattered Rose. So it's just kind of like more intense. Or if you use them as watercolor, it would be a watered down version. Worn lipstick in the middle, Victorian Velvet, and Seedless Preserves at the bottom. Those just look pretty together. This one was, I was testing things, but what I was doing was warming up Spun Sugar with Tattered Rose. So this is Distressed Spun Sugar plus Tattered Rose. It's like a warmer version because Tattered Rose is very warm and Spun Sugar is cool. Here's the, see how cool this is? And this is warmer. Then that's the same thing, but stamped 3 times each. So it's more intense. And it gets warmer as you do that. Milled Lavender, stamped a couple times. And then Victorian Velvet, stamped many times. And those just look like this is like a combination of muted, sort of light colors. And then here we have it again. This is pretty much the same thing, but more on the, these are cool. And then this is they just look nice together. So 1 Spun Sugar, 3 Spun Sugar. And this is 1 Tattered Rose and 3. And then 1 Milled Lavender and 3 Milled Lavender. And they just look nice together. And then here's the cool, like here's the warm reds and here's the cool, and it's going into purple. So spun sugar 3 times, picked raspberry once, and then picked raspberry 3 times, and then seedless preserve. So that's a cool palette. I mean, that could be layering too. Okay, so that's it for the yellows, oranges, and reds. Okay, so here we have the purples and blues going into greens, and I'll do the greens last because I have a lot of them. So I realized I didn't have many blues. I have quite a few aquas, but hardly any blues. So I realize I'm gonna need to get some more blue inks. So let's start with, you can take a screenshot or pause it here just to see if you need to fill any of your colors, or just pause it there and then I'll tell you what they are. So here's purple, just all my shades of purple, Distress Ink Milled Lavender, Shaded Lilac, this is cool, Distress Ink Stain Dusty Concord, that's muted, and I'd say cool. Hero Arts Passion Flower, muted. Distress Ink Seedless Preserves, definitely cool. And here are the Pigment Inks, the Colorbox, so the blues and purples. And again, they're very hot, almost neon colors. Not as neon as the pinks and reds, but here's the muted purples, which are Milled Lavender, Victorian Velvet, Passion Flower, and then down here it's Dusty Concord and Seedless Preserves here and here. And these are all muted colors. Now I should have put trio because it's a trio, but this could be used as a layering. So for a purple flower or something we have, oh, I didn't write it. Oopsie. Okay, let's see if I can figure it out. That's milled, the lavender. That's this one, yeah, Milled Lavender. This one is the Hero Arts Passion Flower. And then this is Seedless Preserves. So another thing about the swatching process is I get to know the color. So now I know quickly what all those are. And then I just did a duos here because I had a polka dot stamp to go on top, but I don't really like a lot of them. I would never use them. Maybe this one and maybe this one. But that's Spun Sugar and Shaded Lilac, Spun Sugar and Milled Lavender, Milled Lavender and Seedless Preserves, Shaded Lilac and Dusty Concord Stain. That's why it's all messy. And then Dusty Concord Stain as a base and Seedless Preserves on top. But these two at least go together nicely. Oh, it's still going. Okay, now for the blues. Beautiful blues. We have Distress Ink Stain Faded Jeans at the top. Muted. Hero Arts Cornflower. Beautiful blue. Hero Arts Pool. Distress Ink Salty Ocean. It's bright. And Stormy Sky Dark. And muted, I'd say. So I picked out a trio here of blues, and as they faded, they really do fade. See, this is what I don't like about these inks, because I'm an artist and I like color fastness, but anyway, or light fastness, I meant to say. Here's a trio of light is the cornflower. I need to get a light blue. This is what this tells me. Distress Ink Stain Faded Jeans. And this is a mix, 3 times each, of Salty Ocean and Stormy Sky stamped, although that's really not very dark. What I do is actually mix some of this Stormy Sky to make it really dark. So that's not a great trio, but anyway. I need some blue inks. This is what this tells me. Here's a nice trio here of Tumbled Glass, Distress Ink, Hero Arts Pool, Tumbled Glass, Pool, and Peacock Feathers plus Stormy Sky. And this tells me I need to buy an ink if I want to just do it once. that is this color, like a deep aqua. So instead of mixing these two, or for now I can mix them. Then we get into aquas. Hero Arts Soft Pool, Hero Arts Tide Pool, Tumbled Glass, Distress Ink Stain and Broken China, and then Peacock Feathers at the bottom as the darkest. Now here's some layers. They all kind of really go together in shades. So at the top we have Tumbled Glass stamped once, and then Tumbled Glass 3 times. Although again, that's not really, it's really not darker, but in a pinch you can stamp them twice depending on how absorbent your paper is. Distress Stain, Broken China. Hero Arts Pool, that's darker, of the same shade. And then for the darkest, Peacock Feathers and Salty Ocean. So I would like to get an ink in this color because it's a beautiful color, and so it'll save me from stamping those twice. And then here's the last trio, and I would say this is, see, this is like a cool trio and this is a warm trio. Or this could be neutral considered. But it's cooler than this. This is warm. Oh, I didn't write them again. Okay, this is the Soft Pool by Hero Arts. That is Tide Pool, Hero Arts. And that one is Peacock Feathers. So, let me write that. Hero Arts. And so Soft Pool, Tide Pool, and Peacock Feathers. All right, so you can take a screen capture there and compare your colors if you like. And we'll go on to the greens. Okay, here we go with the greens that I have. Could take a screenshot here and pause it if you like. And we'll start with this one. So these are just all my greens, and these are. So start off with Hero Arts Lime Green, Distress Ink Shabby Shutters, Hero Arts Green Hills, Distress Ink Bundled Sage, and Hero Arts Field Greens. Then we have Hero Arts Pastel Mint, Distress Ink Stain Crush Olive. It's muted and bright at the same time. It's kind of strange. Distress Ink Old Paper. I should have put this one up there, but hey. Distress Ink Peeled Paint. That's the ink, or the Distress Ink, not the pad. And then Hero Arts Soft Olive at the bottom. Okay, more greens. This is a very cool iced spruce. And then we have a bright mauve lawn by Distress Ink again. Evergreen Bough. It's a cool one. Forever Green is darker olivey, and the Forest Moss is a darker olive, muted. Then the Pigment Inks by Colorbox. These are very bright, again hot, almost neon. Now I have a cool swatching thing here. So cool colors are the Pastel Mint, Lime Green. I would say that could be considered neutral. This is definitely cool, the Green Hills by Hero Arts. Mauve Lawn, cool. And Evergreen Bough, cool. Could be neutral actually too. Bright are Hero Arts Lime Green, Hero Arts Green Hills, Mauve Lawn, and Evergreen Bough are bright, as in not muted. And here's muted, so you can compare them. See, these are bright and these are muted. So we have old paper, distress ink. This one is soft olive, Hero Arts. A bit darker than the old paper. Bundled Sage is in the middle. Field Greens. And then Forever Green and Distress Ink Forest Moss are at the bottom. I wanted like a shade here, so I stuffed another one in there. Okay, now I've made some trios. So here's a trio, so for like a layered stamp. This is a muted mid-tones, Bundled Sage, Hero Arts Field Greens, and Hero Arts Forever Green. That's a really nice trio. I'd say on the neutral side. Neutral to cool, maybe. This is on the warmer side. No, this is neutral, I'd say. Because this is kind of, yeah, neutral. Pastel Mint for the lightest. Lime Green for the middle. And Mowed Lawn. So that's a nice leaf combination, too. I should have put a little leaf on it, but these are the trios. Now these are, again, layers. So these are, again, you could use them for layered stamps for more than a 3 layered stamp. This would be a 3, this is a 5. But again, with the Pastel Mint by Hero Arts, Lime Green. You could use Lime Green or Green Hills as the mid-tone. And then darker Mowed Lawn, and then for the very darkest, that could be your darkest color, although it's not very dark. And then for the darkest, I mixed the Mowed Lawn by Distress Ink and the Forever Green by Hero Arts to make this dark. But this is a really nice greens combination because they're neutral. And here's a muted, like an olivey muted layered swatch. Here's Distress Ink Old Paper, Pastel Mint, although that's can be on the, yeah, it's neutral, I'd say. Then Shabby Shutters in the middle, which is muted. Forever Green by Hero Arts, muted. And Forest Moss is, these are all very olivey colors. And again, layers, these are a good, like a 4 layering stamp or something. Old Paper, Bundled Sage. And so these are different, you know. I know they're using the same ones, but they are different. Bundled Sage, Field Greens, and Forever Green. These two go really nicely as your darks, mid and dark. And then these are 2 new lights, whereas here I used Old Paper and Pastel Mint, and this one is Old Paper and Bundled Sage as the middle. This has a lighter middle. Okay, that's it for the green. So that's it for all my swatches. I hope you enjoyed. Okay, I'm here at the end making my swatches, and here they all are. Very satisfying to do this. Put them in this order: neutrals, browns, going into yellows, peaches, reds, pinks, purples, blues, aquas, and then greens at the last. So I thought you might like to watch me put them on the ring. I'm doing this for the first time. Okay, that's it, guys. Here is my color wheel of my inks, and maybe this is where I can show you. Okay, this is how I keep my inks. This is a tray from IKEA, and I put this in my Raskog cart, whatever that's called, from IKEA, and I keep my blacks, which are these 3, and the white in here. a couple of these things. I could use more of these, but I never use them. I usually watercolor my backgrounds. Then I have my powders in here, and then I keep purple and blues in here, and the reds and oranges stains in here with the reds and pinks and oranges in these tins, obviously. And I keep them in there like that. Then I have the greens stains. Oh yeah, okay. The green stains in there like that, and then I keep the green inks in there. And then in here I have the neutral and any, like, you know, I've got browns. This is all the browns and neutrals in here, and the stains. And then, so I keep those in there, and then I just keep my blues and purples in there. And it all fits, and then I stuck these, which I hardly ever use, just in here like that. And then I take this out and I slide it in my middle section of my IKEA cart, my craft cart, you know, those Raskog carts. So I can put this out on my table and have access to everything. And now I have my color wheel there that I can just stick on top. So I hope you enjoyed this video. There's all my colors swatched out. And drop me a like if you did, and subscribe if you feel like it. And have a great day, guys. Thanks. Bye.